So Nathan has taken over watering all of our flowers.
Good for some.
You're good for a lot of things. You guys, I'm not sick. I spent a lot of time in the garden ripping out a bunch of plants, and I don't know if it was just like the pollen or what, but I woke up and my voice sounded like this, but I feel great. So
I think it's that time of year.
I think it's just the time of year. Everybody's just like going through that transition. Plus it was really cold here and then got really hot here again. All of a sudden it was in the 90s today, which was really unfortunate, but you know, it's part of it. So tomorrow we will be cleaning out the rest of the beds for these to go into. Nathan and I are just going to kind of walk around tonight down into the high tunnel, talk through some things, kind of share with you guys our plans for our next big project, if you will, what that looks like. Oh, there's a chicken out.
All right.
Our little baby chicks have been out in the coop and they're doing really well. Funny story, it has been a long time since I have been gotten by a chicken, or a rooster I should say. I don't know if you guys, if you've been following us for a long time, you know that we agreed and promised our kids that we would not keep roosters, because when Peyton was little, we had a rooster that was mean. I mean, this rooster, it like literally chased her around the chicken coop and got her. Well, we have one rooster who has been really nice. I mean, we've had this rooster for how long now?
We've had several come to Jesus meetings though.
Have you?
Oh yeah.
Okay, so I have not had any come to Jesus meetings with this rooster. But I go into the chicken coop yesterday, their pan had been flipped over and he was kind of like acting weird, like kind of bowing up a little, but I really wasn't concerned. When I reached down to flip that pan over, he comes at me, y'all, and starts spurring me on the leg. Like I've got gashes from this rooster. Well, the only thing I had was the scoop I had full of the feed. And so I took it and I knocked him and like feed goes everywhere. It was so dramatic and ridiculous. And now I don't know if I want to have a rooster anymore or not. He's never been mean, but like that's one of the girls' chores in the afternoon is to go get the eggs. And so I can handle a little blood, but I don't want him getting the babies, so I don't know.
Future chicken broth.
Yeah, I don't know what we're gonna do there. That is what we have done in the past when we've had really mean roosters. We have butchered them and used them for broth. Typically we just don't ever try to get roosters. Like we try not to get a straight run. Like the chicks we just had from McMurray, those were all females. And so sometimes you just have those that gets missed, right? It's really hard when you're sexing chicks that little. So a lot of times we'll end up with maybe one or two that we didn't originally intend to have. He was fine until now. Now he's not. So I'm speaking at a homesteading conference this weekend, Ozarks Homesteading Expo in Bentonville, Arkansas. And so you'll notice that this week my content is a little different. So I'm going to be posting videos. I posted yesterday, which was Tuesday, today, Wednesday, and Thursday, and take off Friday. I'm actually going to go up there with a friend on Friday while Nathan mans the fort, and then he will come with the kiddos on Saturday and help us speak. We are speaking on the importance of gardening for a homesteader and just really why it's valuable and why we think you guys should do it. I'll put the information down below if you guys are local and would like to come check it out. It'll be at the Benton County Fairgrounds, I believe. And so
Bentonville County.
Well, no, it's in Bentonville, but it's actually the Benton.
Benton County. That's right.
Benton
that's right.
County. Yeah, I was really confused for a minute. I was so confused, you guys. I'll be honest. And so content's a little different this week. I showed you guys the piggies yesterday. Since then, one of the billy goats got in there. Nathan's been talking to Ben Turn about what we're gonna do there and what is the census.
I really don't know yet.
Okay. So Nate, one of the things that I was going to talk to them about is kind of like our next big project, which would be this area right here that you've been working on. You guys can see we've got a silage tarp that was right here, and then we moved it, and we're just kind of going around in these sections trying to kill off the grass. All right, so this is one of our biggest projects that we are tackling right now. Nathan said he didn't leave. How long did you leave that silage tarp on here for, babe?
Probably 3 weeks.
Yeah, so we left it on there for a really long time, but as you can see, it didn't kill all the grass. And we went ahead and moved it. There are these little flags that are out there, and we are putting a seed starting greenhouse. So my old seed starting greenhouse, which is over there, officially got moved. It's just being housed over there. It's actually going to be over here. So eventually my greenhouse will be over here where we are reworking in, and by we I mean our friend Sean. Instead of the pull down tables that kind of like folded up, we're not going to do that anymore. We're going to put in actual tables so I have more space. And then he's building me another one. And that's great, but one thing that we ran into at the old farm is the ground was not leveled. And so when you first start seeds, like you guys saw at the beginning of this video, I was overwatering those are pretty established. It's not that big of a deal. But when you are, you know, sowing seeds that are really small, sunflower seeds are really small, Junie, you want to make sure that you're watering from the bottom and not overwatering, so you're not pushing the seed down in there or dealing with some sort of disease or something like that. She wants your attention. And so the ground was not level that we had our greenhouse on. And let me tell you, Nathan and I would go in there and we would have like rocks and wood just like shimmied up on the trays. That way all the water wasn't puddling from one end to the other. Yep. So what that means, why this is a big project, I guess, is we've got to level it out. And who you've been talking to, we're trying to have shell brought in.
Yeah, just fill dirt.
Yeah, you want to kind of explain that and why it's been a little bit more challenging than we thought it would be.
Well, probably because we're going to need several loads of just fill dirt or shell brought in, and that costs money. And then getting somebody out here with the proper equipment, you know, rather than you and I with a shovel and a rake.
I will say I am willing to do a lot of things. That would take forever.
It's not worth it.
It's so not worth it. Yeah.
That's why it's not finished.
Yeah.
We've got so many other things going on right now, but that is pretty important. So that's something we've got to knock out in the next couple of weeks.
Yeah, so realistically, I am starting seeds around end of January. And so I would need the greenhouse fully operating by then, both ones we have. I mentioned this before in a prior vlog, and we were getting asked a lot of questions. Is it not an issue to put that greenhouse next to the big high tunnel? Is it going to shade out? And so
I'd say no, just because, you know, we got east over here, and so it's going to get all that morning sun, you know, up until, what time is it now? You know,
6:20.
6:20. So it'll get plenty of sunlight.
It will. So we have talked to some people, you know, came out here and like looked and didn't think that it was going to be an issue. I know when Jess and Maya had the property too, when they had discussed having multiple tunnels, they were just going to line them up here kind of like we have. And so this is one of those projects that I'm afraid if we don't get ahead of the game, we're going to get really behind really quickly. And so we're trying to find someone who can bring in fill dirt, who can do this work, and also something that isn't going to cost us an arm and a leg. You know, we just don't have the right equipment, and it's not just topsoil that you're pulling back, it's a lot of rock.
It's just rock, yeah.
Yeah, and so having the right equipment makes a huge difference when trying to level this out. But that is the goal, and the plan is to have the same. You would have your entrance to the greenhouse just like you would the tunnel. You'd walk in, then there would actually be a back door, so that's where we're going to be doing those modifications to the existing greenhouse that we have, to where you could walk directly into the next tunnel. All of my hardening off tables we'd have beside there or maybe behind them, and have pretty big walkways to where we could get something in between if we needed to.
Side by side one of these days.
This man and his side-by-side. You keep getting on me about the side-by-side.
Y'all help me out here.
Listen, I know. Mama is working hard to get you that side-by-side. And so that is a huge project. What other projects are we working on? I feel like this one's like one of the biggest ones that we can't do by ourselves.
Yeah, the only other thing is getting some grass established.
Yeah.
We have not had enough rainfall. I've put out some seed. It did not germinate. So I've got to figure out a way to just scratch up the ground because it's like hard concrete. So either getting a tractor in here or something to drag just to break, loosen that soil. And then we're either going to have to run several hundred feet of garden hose and a sprinkler to continuously water, or we got to wait until we've got 4 or 5 days of rainfall.
Yeah.
Otherwise, none of my grass seed is going to germinate. But so that's where we're at as far as
that task.
Establishing the pastures. We just hadn't had the rainfall to tackle that yet. So.
Yeah, I agree. I will be really relieved when this gets done, though. This seems like a big task. I know for Nathan, establishing the pastures is a big task. It's like when you first start seeing that grass start, sprouting up, you're like, oh yeah. I know when I have this greenhouse in place and the other greenhouse built for me, it'll be like, okay, seed starting is just right around the corner. I also want to kind of do some bells and whistles. I say bells and whistles, there are things that are just going to make my job easier and more efficient. And so we were talking about having one of those, like where you can have the overhead hose retractable.
Yeah, she wants a hose reel mounted in there with a garden hose on it. That way she can just pull garden hose out as she needs it. And, a lot of times those things have automatic.
How amazing would that be, though?
Yeah.
It just, you know what I mean? And so while we're making the adjustments, I guess, to the existing greenhouse and the other greenhouse, these are things that I'm like, okay, that's probably worth the extra investment for the long run, just on that was one thing I dealt with is, moving the water hose in there, making sure a lot of times you'd have to come in there and hold it and make sure I wouldn't smash the other plants and things like that. And so those are little things that we're working on that'll make things a lot easier. I feel like
more efficient. That
is what I'm going for, you guys. I did want to show you the tunnel. Have you been in here, Nate, in the last few days?
Nope.
Things are popping up left and right, getting a little bit bigger.
Wow, these things are taking off.
I know, the Chinese cabbage is where it is at. I love growing Chinese cabbage for so many reasons. But literally, these have probably doubled, babe, in just the last week.
Yeah, you have to get that netting though.
We do. When is the insect netting supposed to come?
It's supposed to be here the 29th.
The 29th. So you guys can see on here we have a lot of damage, and you can see that there's this white dust. That is the dipel dust. It is an organic, natural option to keep caterpillars off. I've been coming out here and spraying every single day, or dusting with it every single day. You can still see there's some damage. They're still growing really well. I did end up doing some shifting. Nate said that tomatoes are coming up, and we already know we will forever be growing tomatoes at the original OG Roots and Refuge. As soon as we got the irrigation back on in here, tomato sprouts were insane. It was so funny. Every time I see a volunteer, there's been a lot of volunteer Kajari melons popping up as well. I just laugh because...
Thanks, Jessica.
Thanks, Jessica. So behind me right here, I did have some brassicas planted. Nathan and I talked to you guys how we laid out the beds aesthetically, how we wanted it to look, especially for picture purposes or just even coming in here for my own enjoyment in the dead of the winter. I did end up bunching together my dino kale and my rainbow chard a little bit more, which is what was back here. I had a couple cabbages and then dino kale, which requires a lot of spacing, but you really can do it a lot tighter than it says, especially if you're growing kind of in a controlled environment like this. And so I had cleared this out, this space right here, for the purpose of direct seeding. And so we had mentioned that in between our rows, which I can pan over here and show you guys, you can see we have quite a bit of space in between our rows here. We will be direct seeding things like carrots, radish, beets, things that don't really get that tall. But then I was still wanting some space for maybe collard greens and lettuces and spinaches, and that I could come in here and literally be direct seeding these things in the dead of winter. And so I've kind of designated the back half of this bed for that purpose. And I also think it'll be a really good chance to kind of show you guys what all you can be growing in the dead of winter in your tunnel. And so I'm real excited about that. This will be my first time growing in a tunnel through the winter, and especially our own tunnel. I have grown for another farm in their tunnel, but we only did the summer season. We never did the winter season. And so I'm excited. What are you most excited about, Nathan? Is that just a handful of tomatoes? Come show. Look at all these tomatoes.
Volunteer tomatoes.
Volunteer tomatoes. That's what happens when you turn the irrigation on. So what are you most excited about that's growing in the tunnel?
I love cabbage. I love cauliflower. I love broccoli.
So just all of it, just the season extension.
Right.
Yeah.
The season extension, and all of these. Well, cauliflower and broccoli we eat a lot of, and we put up a lot of that.
Yeah.
Because we do eat that. Throughout the summer when you can't grow it. So.
We are also sharing this space as well with our friends, which I don't think I've actually mentioned that before. My friend Melanie does a lot of ferments, and so a lot of these cabbages we are going to be partnering together. Her and Nathan just are foodies for sure. And so Nathan really wanted sauerkraut. Melanie said that she would kind of teach him and they could partner in doing that. And so we are growing some of this just for the purpose of making and putting up fermented sauerkraut, which is pretty cool. We had some that she made last year. It's really good. We're going to be doing it. It's going to be in 5-gallon crocks, right?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
And so I'll try to get her to do a video with me, and I don't know that process, so I'm not going to act like I do.
She's a wealth of knowledge when it comes to that kind of thing, like Sean is a wealth of knowledge when it comes to farming. So.
And Nathan is a wealth of knowledge for all sorts of things, really.
Oh, yeah?
You can cook good. You love animals. You're funny.
Oh, yeah?
Right. He's
on.
rocking these silver duck feathers.
Silver. There's no silver in there.
Can I tell them about this morning?
What happened this morning?
I roll over to get out. I roll over to get out of bed, and this man is picking gray hairs.
No. That's why you don't see him in there.
And I said, honey, you might as well stop.
I'd be late for work if I
he would.
picked him up.
Oh, I love you so much.
You're cutting that out, right?
Nope, that one's staying in. So everything's pretty good here.
Microgreens.
Those are. I've never actually grown tomato microgreens, but you should try one. Tell me what it tastes like. Is it good?
A little gritty.
Little gritty. So this bed behind me will be planted this week, actually, and that's really exciting. So next week I'll be able to bring you guys in here and start showing you the flowers that we're planting. I will also probably starting the fall garden tours, and that is included in the tunnel as well. Sean and I are going to be taking out the ginger in the next few weeks. We do plan on doing a video. You guys have asked so much about ginger. I don't know a whole lot about it. Nathan doesn't know a whole lot about it, and so we're going to ask you guys closer to time to just kind of email us and submit what questions you have, what you want to know about the ginger, and Sean will come out here and do a video for you guys. Other than that, aside from having to plant this long bed, which this bed is really, really long, and then we will plant more flowers when we get the ginger out, the tunnel is done and it feels really good. That's one of those things that I can kind of check off that list and know that now that this is almost done, transplanting, that will not take long at all. But all the hard work and all the sweat equity has already been put into this tunnel, and now we can just kind of put systems in place and reap the rewards of that. The focus is going back out into the raised bed garden like I talked to you guys about yesterday. But it feels good. You feel good about all the things we're checking off?
Heck yeah. It's starting to look great.
It really is starting to look good. I had a friend come over the other day and they're like, this looks professional. You look like you know what you're doing. I was like, oh, thanks.
What are y'all doing?
Judy, what are you doing, sis? Come here.
Okay.
All right, Char, you can come over here too. Hey, come here.
Okay.
Okay, come here, Junie. What do you want to tell your friends? Whoa.
Okay.
So you played outside. What else did you do today?
Poop pipe.
You pooped in the potty. Good job. What did you do today, Charlie?
I got a golden ticket.
Charlie did really good at school today. She got a golden ticket. She got a sucker. She got a really good report card sent home.
My gymnastics.
And she got a ribbon and a reward at gymnastics today. So Charlie is growing up on me and just doing so good. Junie B's growing up, sassier than ever. But I know the kids have been in less vlogs, especially now since Charlie is in school. But they've been doing really good. She does come out here and help me in the garden a lot, don't you? And you help Daddy feed the animals?
Yeah.
You help Daddy feed the animals?
Yes.
Come here and tell them what your favorite animal is.
Daddy's favorite animal.
No, what is Junie B's favorite animal?
Pink one.
The what one? You want the piggies?
She said pink one.
What?
Pink one.
What is Junie B's favorite animal?
Pink.
The piggy?
Yes.
What noise does the piggies make? Did you tell them about your kitty cats? You got new kitty cats?
Mama, I showed you.
You want to show me the kitty cats?
Yes.
Okay, we'll go up and see the kitty cats, okay?
I'm show you baby kitty cat.
Okay. You said ta-da! We moved this little cat tower out here, and the kitty cats love it. Hi.
Mommy.
Oh, be sweet, okay?
Okay, Mommy.
Be sweet.
I'm pretty sure this one's Peter.
Oh, you named him?
That's Peter.
It's
That's
Peter.
Peter. He's really nice to me. He loves me. It's Yummy, Mom.
He loves you. Be sweet, okay? You gotta be sweet and gentle to the kitty cats.
This pitch black one over here is named Luna. That's good. This one's Luna.
Luna.
That's
Okay.
Luna. Peyton named her. That's Luna.
Hi,
That's
sweetie.
Luna. That's
Oh,
Luna.
they're so sweet. All right, hey girls, come here. We gotta get ready for the night so that we can get everything ready for Char to go to school tomorrow. Come here, Junie. Come here.
Okay.
Okay, come here, Char.
Mama, I noticed something.
What?
There's one missing.
Oh, I bet it's around here.
Oh, it's my black and tan.
Yeah, I bet it's just hiding somewhere. All right, girls, can you tell them thanks for looking at my kitties?
I did your mine.
Can you tell them thanks for hanging out with you?
Thanks for looking at Peter.
Thanks for looking at Peter.
I love Peter.
Peter is pretty cute.
That Peter.
That's Peter.
Yes.
All right, you guys, I know this was a quick little vlog around the farm, but thank you guys so much for hanging out. We'll talk to you soon. Y'all say bye.
Bye. Bye.